Welcome back. Welcome. As you see, the LEDs are still Hurricanes red.
Triple welcome.
Which means the Hornets
did not win.
They're on an 8-game losing streak.
They haven't won since January the 4th. It's the 26th.
So that's the bad news. But the good news is that we got a special guest today.
Mr. Gerry V.
Good to see you guys again.
Back.
How you doing, V man?
Doing good, guys. Good to see you.
For those of you that follow us, Gerry V was here with us before the season began.
Yep.
And he's blessed us with his presence again to talk about the midseason for the Charlotte Hornets. So we're just going to jump right into it. So the Hornets lost 8 in a row. Their last win was.
Hey, is this my good side?
That is, you don't have a bad side, Gerry.
You don't have a bad side.
I'm marketing. You know that.
You really. Their last win came against the Dallas Mavericks on the 4th of January. Their last home win came all the way in December.
It's been over a month.
Wow. So the fans are in an uproar. There's a lot of debate about whether or not James Borrego is doing a good job. Malik Monk seems to be the hot topic. Devonte Graham has kind of cooled off. Terry Rozier has ascended. PJ Washington looks really good. So, guys, what do you guys think about the Charlotte Hornets mid-season? We only have 15 wins, but a lot of people didn't even think we'd have that many for the entire season.
For our talent, I think we're doing above where we were scheduled to be. Borrego doesn't have much to work with, honestly, to me, and he's making sugar out of shit. So to say,
you can say shit on a podcast.
You can say shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love this venue.
It's our podcast.
Yeah, he's making shit out of shit. Our big man rotation is just horrible. It's one of the worst in the league. Miles Bridges has been inconsistent the whole season. He's in the sophomore slump. Monk is in a perpetual slump, and he teaches you with the good things, and he follows up with the bad. Right. And Rozier, he's better than advertised. Also, Graham, I'm loving his progression through the year. I just want to see how he kind of changes up his game now that the actual tape is out on him.
If you go back and look at their numbers over the course of the season, you see they're not getting enough shots. They're not making enough shots.
That's true.
And you're living and dying by the 3 ball. Their offense isn't diversified enough. They're not making enough shots. They don't have the offensive punch. And you look at their offensive ranking in the league, and it's down there bottom 5, bottom 6 as far as efficiency.
Like 30 now,
so that's killing them. So what happens is there's a lot of stress on you to score all your possessions. So you get into close game. You might see them jump out, have a dynamite first quarter. Then they'll sow slippage. You don't have the firepower. So the 3 ball is like their rocket launcher when that's not happening. But not enough shots, not enough finishes. Look at the 3s, look at the 2s, and even look at their free throws. Right, so there's not enough offensive production. Now couple that with the fact that they display this defensive slippage during critical times. And you couple those two together along with the points that you brought up, and that's why you are where you are right now. This is, Borrego he's mixing up lineups, he's experimenting, because I personally think they're trying to evaluate and see who is worth investing in and developing as a player. So you're going to take your punches right now. And next year will be a critical year for them to show improvement. But look, those numbers don't lie. And these aren't just like, analytics talking. This is real basic, hardcore, shots taken, shots made, defensive stops, how many stops you're getting, when, and how. And it's right there. The evidence is right there.
And I think we saw in the Paris game, the Hornets
came out blazing.
I was in my condo in Paris for that. I just walked to the arena. I was hanging out. I was having like coffee and bread and smoking cigarettes like the French did.
But that game, they were winning the whole game until that defensive slippage you talked about.
Well, there it is.
Happened.
Remember, see, and at the level that they are, teams will look and they go, okay, that's enough. We'll hit the switch.
Yeah.
And boom, 3-5 possessions, game over.
Game over, yeah.
So they don't have that spurt. They don't have that spurt, which goes with...
In fact, I get nervous when I see games like the Paris game where the Hornets are are competitive and playing well the whole game, I get nervous because I'm like, the other team just hasn't gone on their run yet.
And they haven't flipped the switch yet.
Yeah, and then they do, and we never go on the counter run. You know, they say the NBA is a game of runs. I never see the Hornets go on the counter run.
We don't have the
his
firepower.
point about personnel, now couple the personnel lacks the firepower. That's why you don't see the runs. That's
Right.
why. An 8-game losing streak, they've had, I did numbers the other day off the top of, they've had losing streaks of 3 and 5 and 7
Yep.
and 8. And that tells you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't run from it. You can't run from who you are. And you watch him play, you know what the needs are.
Mm-hmm.
You either got to address it or you better get out of the deep end of the pool.
Borrego made a statement at the end of last season, or rather the beginning of this season, that one of the mistakes he made in his rookie season was that he was trying to build essentially the Spurs 2.0, and the personnel wasn't there.
Yeah.
It seems like this year he's doing a better job of saying who's going to fit in this system that I'm trying to build. Because I don't think the Hornets have ever really had like a system that they invested in and then brought people in to fit that system. I've always maintained that there just simply isn't enough separation between players at the same position on the Hornets. Do you agree with that, or is Borrego just throwing
Stuff at the wall?
See what
He's
sticks?
experimenting. It is what it is. And like the point I made earlier, I think that they're looking to see who's worthy of investing in, and by that I don't mean financially only, but minutes.
Future, yeah.
Minutes and the return you get, plus looking into the future from it. And that's the quandary. That's the quandary that they're in right now. They got to make a push next year to do it, but the problems with the team this year are so blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
It's going to take experimentation. It's going to take an emotional pain threshold of going crazy and dealing with it. And when I watch them play, it's why I focus on individual improvement and then collective team play defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And you look and see who you can keep. So, yeah, it's tough. It's very, very tough right now. Hopefully next year, and I hate that word, hopefully.
I mean, you got to be real.
Next year, they got to give the fans, a reason to try to embrace the product. And it's painful. It's painful to watch. It's one of those, let's see what happens.
Yeah. And honestly, man, when I look at this team, I only see 4 or 5 players to invest in the future thus far.
Yeah, Rozier, Graham, PJ, and then Miles, maybe that fourth.
Miles is maybe the fourth. Malik Monk right now is. I mean,
let's talk. Okay, let's just elephant in the room. Let's just get the Malik Monk conversation out of the way. Okay, because
what is he as a player? You know what he is? He gives you oh my God moments.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh my God! How many 30?
Did you see that block?
Yeah.
Wow! Did you see that play? And then you sit there, and you wait for the next one, or the next game. And I call it how many consecutive positive moments does a player string together over the course of a game? And I mean on both ends. Like I tell people when they ask, when you're watching a game, concentrate on a player for 10 possessions. Offense, defense. Do it 10 times and watch him. His movement, did he touch the ball? Is he moving without the ball? What is he doing within those possessions,
Body
offensively
language.
and defense, body line, everything. That'll tell you a lot about the player. And then do it again with another guy. And then maybe come back to that guy. And then over the course of some games, you'll get a capsule of what the player is. I call him, he's an oh my God moment guy. Whoa, my God, what a play. And then the next game, where is he?
right?
Right.
It's funny. In the Paris game, there was a oh my God moment in which Malik Monk had a great block in the lane on an open dunk. But what everyone misses is the reason he was in position to make the block is because he was not guarding his guy. He had a guy, he left the guy wide open in the corner long before the play developed because he was lost defensively. The guy even had his hands up. If
waiting in the corner.
If the Bucks had just made the pass, that would have been 3 points. Fortunately, they decided to drive the ball, and Monk was there at the block. So that's what fans, they see the oh my God moments and they miss everything else.
The fans got to be careful to overanalyze this team. Sometimes the reasons a team is not winning and playing well are right there.
They're right in front
It
of you.
does not require a lot of in-depth analytical work. It's just there. There's the eye test and the stat test, the basic stat test reveals so much truth.
Yeah. And one thing about Malik Monk with some fans don't realize, 2 coaches have said the same thing about you.
Yeah.
They've questioned some of your effort, and
2 coaches with completely different coaching philosophies.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then also Jamal brought this up last week. He has a contact within the Hornets that says the younger players look up to Malik as some type of role model. And so if you're a role model to these young players and you're not putting forth the effort to get better every day, I have to make an example out of you.
See, I don't think the young players are looking up to him as a role model.
You don't think so?
Maybe they like him as a person.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's one thing, inside thing in locker rooms and teams. Players know who the money people are, and I don't mean by money by what you're getting paid. Who the men are,
right?
Who the guys are. They know that, and those are the people that they observe.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you guys this, because there's the narrative with fans is that, well, if Monk just got consistent minutes, then we would see development. And my thing is, take a guy like Devonte Graham, who averaged 8 minutes a game last year, spent time in the G League back and forth. He comes in, and remember, he didn't start the season, but he came in and there was a clear improvement.
He put in. I've had 3 conversations with him, and he says the things and then he delivers. Because when I asked him, I said, okay, make believe I'm your coach. What have you done in the off season that's going to put me in a position to give you more minutes? And he said, I worked on my range. I worked on my handle. I worked on how to execute the pick and roll. I worked on how to get into the lane and either finish or find people. And then I got to work on my defense. And this is over the course since he's been here, right? And then you see it's like he has the mentality. Remember the name David West?
Yes.
Yeah. Played for the Hornets. Every year, David West added something to his game.
Yes.
Every off season, even if it was a small, add a step back move. Add anything, a mental aspect of the game, and he's done that.
Yep.
So that impresses you.
That's what we've been, Hornets group members. That's what we've been saying about Monk. We saw it with Kemba every year. You were like, whoa, he wasn't doing that last season.
Yeah.
We see it with everyone. We're not seeing that with Monk. The main difference in Monk is that he realizes that he doesn't have NBA range. He doesn't have the range that he had in college.
And then you got to be careful of trying to hang on too long for a guy, because he's giving you those wow moments, but you got to look at the whole body of work.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Are we doing that with Miles Bridges?
As far as what?
The being fixated on the oh my God moments, because he has some oh my God moments.
I honestly, I would say yes. Like, I was not that high on Miles Bridges. We had this discussion early in the season. I said that P.J. Washington was better than him. A lot of people did not believe me when I said that. P.J. Washington is more of an actual cerebral player. He sees the game differently, and he's a better player. Miles Bridges, he gets lost on defense, and his offensive game is just it's not there to me. He doesn't get to the free throw line for somebody of his athleticism, and I'm just like, where is he going after this?
You wanna do something next time you watch him play?
Yes, sir.
Chart how many touches he gets, and where is the pass coming from?
Okay.
Because it's a guard-oriented team, right?
Yes.
Okay. Shot distribution from your guards, touches to your forwards, especially him.
Okay.
And then watch him without the ball. Is he making contributions without it? Is he blocking out? Is he going to the glass? Is he running the floor? Is he a rotating defender? Does he disrupt things? Is he battling a crowd without the ball?
Without the ball.
Because those are ignored measurables that give you some insight to a player, because so many people have a tendency to evaluate a player by when the ball is in his hands. Right?
Yeah.
But they miss the little things. For example, maybe he didn't get a rebound. Is he putting a body on someone to keep him off a glass? Is he changing ends? Is he communicating? That gives you an indicator of potential.
Okay.
So I don't bail on him too soon.
See, guys, that's why we have Gerry V on the show.
I'm willing to learn.
Yeah, I know, right? So let's talk about the 2 games that happened this week real quickly. A loss 106-83 to Orlando, and then the loss in Paris to Milwaukee, 116-103. A game that was a little closer than the score would indicate. It's just that Milwaukee
Two
pulled
spurt
away.
runs in both games cost you.
Monk was the high scorer in both of those games, scoring 20 in the Orlando game and 31 against Milwaukee. I thought that they might shock the world. I was wrong on my predictions. I was almost right on the Milwaukee game, but like you said, the quick spurts.
Bucks were not going to go to Paris.
No, they won't go to Paris and lose.
Well,
They're not going to Paris.
We just couldn't stop Giannis. I mean, the guy had 7 dunks in the game? I mean,
but also you look at Milwaukee, man. That ball movement that they have is beautiful. Beautiful ball movement.
That's the poetry of the game.
It is, and then even on the defensive end, they rotate. They're in front of their guys. They play as a cohesive unit.
They do it consistently. That's what the Hornets don't do, because every once in a while we'll see
because they're a good team. They're looking to win the East. I mean, let's be fair. They can win the East.
They can win
and
the
if you're going to win
championship.
the East, you got to do those things.
Yeah.
When you're not in the playoff hunt, the reason is you don't have the players and you can't do those things. Right. Good teams have to do those things.
Well, let me talk about the Orlando game. Is there that much separation between the Magic and the Hornets?
Yes.
What is the difference?
They have. This is a neglected part of the game now. They have defenders, actual defenders.
Well, they're Steve Clifford coach team.
Steve Clifford coach team. Their players buy into defense. If you look at Markelle Fultz, that dude plays defense. He might be a horrible shooter, but he plays defense. Everybody on that team plays defense.
They make you uncomfortable.
They make you. They're top 5 in the league in defense.
It's like they irritated the Hornets that night.
Steve
like
Clifford
you ever put on
thing.
a shirt and you got to button the collar because your wife or girlfriend said, you're supposed to wear a tie tonight. Ugh. So you wore the collar that didn't fit all the way because you were going to leave it open. And then she says, here, put this tie on. And you can't button it because I got some shirts I wear without a tie. But I can't.
Button the top.
Now button it. See how tight you are?
Yep.
That's what good defenses do to people.
Well, when Clifford was coaching the Hornets, they were always a top 10 defensive team. So I think we're seeing that in Orlando, and that might be no, don't get me wrong. Orlando's not a good team. You're
giving Orlando all this airtime.
No, I'm just saying because I really thought that we could.
We're going to do that. Let's talk about the Knicks.
No, we're not going to talk about the Knicks on this podcast.
Well, we have to kind of because we played them on Tuesday night.
Let's talk about them a little bit.
I can't. You guys talk.
No. We do play them Tuesday.
That's psychologically torturing. I can't go.
Well,
my therapist said don't talk about the Knicks.
There were trade rumors involving the Knicks and the Hornets. What do you think about?
So you want to have your wow moments in New York?
No, man, I can't. Listen, trade rumors among mediocrity and all that. It doesn't float or move my boat.
Trash for trash.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, that's a great rumor. Have fun with it. But both of you are so far, not you two, the teams are so far away from getting it done. If you're going to make a trade, tell me Kareem's coming back and he found a magic lamp.
And we got a special guest.
And he's 25 years old again.
Come on in. Thanks for joining the show.
Hey.
Angry Black Man Jamal Darby shows up.
Hello, Mr. V.
Have a seat.
All right.
You're here just in time for our predictions. So before you guys see us again, we play New York on Tuesday.
Washington Thursday
at Washington, and then
San Antonio.
Those are 3 teams with losing records.
I feel like Napoleon trying to invade Russia in the Russian winter. You're reading that long schedule to me. I'm like, oh man, y'all jumping ahead to games. Give me one at a time. You're inflicting all this damage on me.
All right, predictions.
2-1.
Really?
Yeah.
You being optimistic?
Give me the 3 teams again. Give me the next 3 games.
Knicks, Wiz, Spurs.
Knicks, Wiz, and Spurs.
2 of those are road games. Washington and San Antonio.
Say 1 and 2.
I'm going to say 1 and 2. I'm tired of being optimistic about the Hornets right now. I'm not in a good place with them right now, man.
I'm with Rodney. I think we get the Knicks.
Get the Wizards.
I think we get the Wizards.
We're not beating the Spurs.
We lose to the Spurs in San Antonio.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what do they call their stadium now? But whatever their stadium is, it's like the House of Horrors for us, man. We don't win
AT&T Stadium?
Yeah.
But Hey, didn't we come back down from 27 a few years ago?
That is true. I mean, it's been better,
Nick
but-
Batum had a great game.
I mean, we got one in the bag. We're gonna beat the Knicks. Sorry.
Let me tell you how bad it is. Let me tell you how bad it is with the Knicks. And listen, for the Hornet fans and the Hornet organization, they got to be real happy y'all invest this much time talking about the topic, because that means apathy. I agree, because that means apathy's not in.
Right.
They'd rather their
yeah.
fan base be angry and
I'm
upset.
almost
Well,
there.
no, but you're not there yet.
No.
You see, but
You're
here's how
never
bad
really
it is.
there.
I heard this joke the other day, but it was about the Knicks, but it could apply to the Hornets right now. A buddy of mine called me up. He goes, "Hey, did you hear the latest about the Knicks? You know the old joke about somebody left 8 tickets on the window, and there was a note and said, 'Keep your tickets.'" But I said the guy left 8 tickets on his own car with a note, "Take the tickets, take my car." That's how bad they are.
Well, on Tuesday night, tickets as low
Because
as
he
$6.
said he wasn't going to drive to any more games.
All right, real quick, before we go to our commercial break, grades, midseason grade for the Hornets.
C plus.
Jerry,
C.
C.
Solid C.
I'm gonna go with C as well. I think they're clearly better than anyone thought.
I still, even amongst this losing streak, I agree with that.
Yeah, there's
We saw this
there's some
coming.
nuggets in there.
Nuggets, yeah.
There's some golden nuggets in there.
Right.
So, you pull out some individual things, There's
Terry
some,
Rozier.
Yeah,
Devonte
there's
Graham.
some nuggets in there.
Yeah.
You know,
PJ Washington.
Yeah,
And that's it.
He gives us hope.
for now.
I like Cody Martin too. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Word from our sponsor, Anchor.fm. And we're back under construction. Jamal, the Angry Black Fan, has joined us.
Hey, hello.
Hey,
Hey,
hello,
let me ask
hello.
you something real quick.
Yes, sir.
Dukes or Hellman's? Mayonnaise.
I don't like mayonnaise.
None.
I mean, we're Southerners, so I think you have to say Dukes.
Dukes?
For
Okay.
Southerners.
Just taking a survey.
But is your mic falling?
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that.
Those some, hey man, those are some nice kicks, Mr. V. Yeah, I didn't just notice.
Hey,
those, man.
every
Those
time
are
Jerry
crisp.
comes over, he be G'd up. He
Yeah,
got
I
the
mean,
Adidas.
dog.
Adidas sweat outfit.
Yeah, I
last
was
time?
like, yo, man, I'm trying to get like Jerry.
they fresh, man.
Retro Jordan,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I'm trying to
You
be
know
like
what I
Jerry.
did? I went retro. I got the model of the first Jordan shoe that ever
Right.
came out.
Okay.
And then I got the other one that came out, the limited distribution one.
Fancy.
And then these came out. So I wanted to hit the beginning where it started,
Right.
the latest, and then, the other streetwear. Because when I wear these,
Those fours?
I feel like I'm getting my game back.
Those fours?
Because my game
Those
right now
fours.
is just
Again,
like
Jordan
a memory.
fours.
Yeah.
But they're comfortable.
They're super clean,
I'm
too.
just old man.
There's not even a crease in those things.
Not
Like,
at all.
those look brand new.
I have on some Nike
I wear these to
slides.
bed. And then I switch the other ones up.
All right. So, real quick, numbers have come out about
There you go. Got to flex on them.
about the NBA released their television ratings, and they are down across the board for this season. There's a lot of different factors in why that's happening. A lot of people are cutting the cords. NBA is really only available on cable. I remember the days watching the Hornets on WJZY.
Yep.
It was just regular broadcast
Regular
TV.
TV.
Now I have to have a special Spectrum package. I don't watch anything else on Spectrum but the Hornets,
Yep.
and I think I have to overpay.
Anybody
for
got any
them.
Cialis?
Yeah.
Give it to my microphone.
While you guys
I'm good.
formulate your thoughts on why the ratings are down.
There we go.
There you go.
Your ratings just went up.
There you go.
You like that one? Yeah, no, don't leave me there.
Go ahead.
Fellas, your thoughts on NBA television ratings?
LeBron went to the West Coast. The Warriors are a dead dynasty with injured players. And Zion, they scheduled the Pelicans for like 500 games this year, and he just came back last week. Pretty much.
Yeah,
And it's too many games. How many times can you go to the buffet table?
But what you really like?
No, to go with yours. LeBron is West Coast. They'll go back up. Zion is back. He's must-watch television because of the curiosity and the talent level. The Lakers are starting to make a push. So let's add so many games It's always available.
Yeah.
Okay, always available.
Always.
The
Every
Golden
night.
State Dynasty, the fans will tell you they hated it. They really loved it because everybody hates
Must-see
dynasties,
TV.
but they pull against dynasties, so they watch the dynasty hoping it'll fail. And then you had the NFL.
Yeah.
So, and then the cord cutting, there's more and more people watching games in different ways, streaming and everything. So they got to
Reddit.
sophisticate the complete rating system
Yeah.
of it.
Right.
So I think you'll see the NBA numbers go up a bit. So it's
Yeah.
always there. The product is always there.
No doubt.
You don't miss the product.
That's true.
True. I was gonna say, in the offseason, man, we saw a lot of, like, with Russell Westbrook going to Houston.
Yeah.
We saw, what's another phrase? We saw Kemba Walker go to Boston.
Paul George, the Clippers.
So what that created was a bit of parity. It created a bit of parity in the NBA. Like, we haven't seen this much parity in the NBA in a while.
Yeah.
Like in the past, just to throw a number out there, 6-7 years or whatever, it's been 3 All-Stars stacked on one team. Going into every NBA season, it was going to be one of 3 teams that are going to win the title. And not so much this year. You know what I mean? And I just think the lack of a super team, as much as I've talked trash about the super team and as much as people, quote unquote, hate it.
They loved it.
You still got to watch it. You're still
That's an
going to watch
interesting
it.
point. Because
And then the negative thing of load management.
Right.
I read an editorial the other day, might have been on The Ringer. Whoever did it, I recall, I apologize, did a dynamite job. Once you label something, it's easier for the fan to grasp it.
Right.
And the load management was a turnoff. That's just one of the reasons.
I believe
load
so.
management. But you guys like to go to buffets?
Of course.
I love them.
Would you go every day?
No.
Well, it depends
I
on
lived
which
in
one.
Vegas. Trust me. You don't go to
I'm kind of fan. It depends on which one.
Well, we're talking to
You
two
might
big
be the
guys.
wrong guy to ask. But if I want to watch a game, it's always there.
It is
That's
always
true.
there.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans, I watched the game the other day on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And one other night, I watched it on an iPad.
Is parity?
Instead of my TV.
That's a good point. I want to talk about that real quick. I've always maintained the biggest problem with the NBA versus the NFL was parity. There's a lot of parity in the NFL, and that's, I think, been the key to their success over the last 20 years.
It keeps everybody interested.
Yeah, everyone feels like their team's got a chance, no matter how bad you were the year before.
And then an average record gets you in the playoffs.
Exactly.
That is true.
Whereas in the NBA, there isn't, like Jamal said, even as weak as the Eastern Conference has been for the last decade plus,
It's still a 6 solid
it's
team.
still, you still feel like we know the Hornets aren't going to win the championship. Even if they make the playoffs, we know that
They'll get blown off.
Yeah, it's
Blown off the
unlikely
floor.
they're going to win multiple 7-game series to win the championship. So, is parity overrated in the NBA? In the NBA, we like dynasties and superstars.
Well, sports is about hope and drama, and you hope your team gets in.
And a good storyline.
Yeah, it's a story. You're right. Good storyline.
Right.
It's a beautiful game. I always said, how do you look at the game? If you love the game, it's going to love you back.
Right.
But you got to find some things in it to love, either an individual or a team or the thing. Man, that's why I keep telling people, don't ignore the artistry of the game. You're looking at dunks and analytics and numbers. Remember how guys they talk about, did you see that move last night?
Right.
The
Right.
artistry of the game,
Right.
the move, the matchup, the confrontation.
Let me
Instead
cut
of
you off real quick.
analytics
I'm going to
by
cut you off
the
real quick.
Yeah.
1991, Bulls and Lakers. Michael Jordan goes up,
yeah.
switches the hands.
Oh, yeah.
It was 5 kids in the
Reverse
park.
layup.
It was 5 kids in my park trying to do that
But you know
move
what
the
I
next
mean?
day,
Like
man.
the one-on-one drama or the sweet pass and the play, the cutting. Instead of, analytics plays a role, and I think it's a beautiful addition to the landscape. But when you watch guys, you read a lot of social media, guys are talking, his plus minus is this.
Right.
Man, what
We have that discussion often here.
Did you
Yeah.
see that play?
Right.
Wow.
And one thing that
Instead
kinda,
of just the dunk, too.
and one thing that kind of turns me off about the NBA is strictly threes and layups now. Like
That could be a turnoff.
I missed the
It doesn't
big
seem-
dog Glenn Robinsons, the mid range game.
It doesn't
Just the
seem
big
as
man in the
organic
post.
anymore. It seems like kind
Oh, I
of.
love Kawhi Leonard.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because
Right.
analytics have really
Yeah, the
driven
value of the
league.
three versus-
I mean, really, a mid-range jump shot is a bad shot.
It's- right.
Unless you can hit it 60% of the time, it's a bad shot.
Well,
It just-
because nobody practices it.
nobody.
True.
Right,
Except for
nobody-
Kawhi Leonard and
I
some
need-
others.
I
Right.
need to look up the numbers on what Jordan and Kobe's percentage was on that shot because they.
I
ate
watched
off
some
that
Jordan
shot.
highlights, coincidentally, about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the post. He was at the 3. He was in the circle. He was in the lane. He was doing mini fades from the baseline.
Right.
He was burying people from different spots
Right.
on the floor. His game was so diversified.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful thing to watch.
And it's like these players now. It's either they're one or two dimensional. It's either a 3-point or a dunk or you're just a big.
Although we see the sweet passing.
Yeah.
Gerry, you bring up a good point, and I promise y'all, I do not want to inundate our audience with another Jordan versus LeBron debate. But
No, they're both great.
however, you brought up a good point that I want to bring up. We talk about today's game.
Yeah.
Today's game, you have one superstar. You give him the ball. You basically tell him, hey, go around the screen. You're going to have 3 or 4 other guys who can shoot. You either score or you give them the ball. That's pretty much today's offense. Like, everybody pretty much, if you have one guy, if you have a Russell Westbrook, you have James Harden, you have a LeBron James, give that guy the ball, isolate, let him do whatever he
Depends
does.
who you watch play.
But with the guys who put up these insane numbers, those are the type of offenses they run. With MJ, on the other hand, he worked, and Kobe, they both worked in the confines of a triangle offense,
Yeah.
which is
But I saw LeBron James and Anthony Davis the other day. They did some beautiful things.
Oh, they
I
did.
saw
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Played
San
really good two-man
Antonio
game, yeah.
Spurs with some ball movement the other day that
love
I had a
ball
genuflect in front of the television set.
right.
I was throwing holy water on the screen. The Milwaukee Bucks. You know, the good teams still diversify their attack on you. I see the point that you're making.
Right.
Because maybe that's all the highlights that they pull out to show. It's still a beautiful game, but this propaganda. Somebody flew a plane over and dropped leaflets that said mid-range shot is dead. It's a beautiful part of the game.
And
They can
people buy
punish
into it.
people.
Yeah. I totally agree. When you start a narrative, people bite.
One of my favorite moments is off the dribble in the lane. The the front line guy's got to rotate up to get you,
Yeah.
and you throw that sweet pass to the baseline for the put in.
Yeah.
You know?
It's 3-point. Like I said, we get rid of the corner threes, extend the 3-point line out to the sidelines
You
from
have
the
to have
corner.
bigger courts. You can't do it.
Well,
you have to take seating out.
just get rid of. Just have that be a 2-point shot from baseline all the way to the sideline.
No, the 3 plays a role.
It
three
does,
has a place.
But
but
doesn't
it's just-
play too much of a role.
Yeah, it's just because the value of the difficulty of the 3-point shot does not match the value. A whole nother point worth more than any other shot on the court, even though it's not in today's NBA, it's not that much more difficult.
The 3 stretches the D, it widens it.
Right.
It gives you bigger cutting lanes.
Right.
It gives you space. Maybe a wider lane.
Really,
but I love the game.
Really, it
But
should
the
be
3
worth
has a role.
about 2.5 points, but you're not going to have like,
we're not gonna do that.
really it is, but you're not going to do that. I mean, it should be. So, I like the Korean rules. 4-point shot if it doesn't hit the rim. You guys,
I saw that.
Let's not get too crazy.
Death if you lose.
But,
I like that.
But you know what? With all that being
Get
said,
rid of that replay stuff.
but with all that being said, you mentioned that Golden State has a what did you call it, a failed dynasty, whatever you said. The joke is going to be on everybody next year when they luck into a top 3 pick. And
they're hurt, too.
When everybody comes back,
Yeah.
and you're going to add Zion, hopefully playing the full season next year, the ratings are going to be fine.
That's true.
I believe the ratings is going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think
Having
will
said
be
that,
too.
Spectrum.
But everything's
fix your
overanalyzed.
packages.
Yeah,
All I
spe-
want to do is watch the Hornets. I don't want to pay $200 a month to.
to watch everything else that I don't watch.
Exactly. So
There's another topic for one of your
Yes,
future
exactly.
things: is
Yes.
cable war
Cable.
and distribution.
all right, so we gotta get to this topic because this one might take a while. So we're gonna jump into this.
All
We're
right.
talking Garrett Cole and the Yankees.
No.
No.
This one happens to bring a New York guy in the show. The greatest Panther of all time.
It might be
With-
some furniture to start
with
moving on this one.
the retirement of Luke Kuechly, this has become the forefront of the debate.
Don't answer to emotions, Rodney.
Who is the greatest Carolina Panther of all time? So I'm gonna go first because I'm gonna let you guys blow V8. I think it depends on how you ask the question. If you say who is the greatest player to ever be a Panther, then
How are you going to ask it?
Well, I would say Julius Peppers. I mean, one of the most dominant pass rushers in the history of the league.
Yeah.
Number
So is
4
that your
all
pick?
time. That was a pretty good pick.
Trying to get him
pick.
off the fence.
Yeah. So
who is it?
Look, his emotions are taking over. I know what he wants
We
to
are not
say.
answering
No,
all emotions
I know.
today.
No,
This is what he wants to
just
say.
saying,
Look at the jersey pattern.
depending on how the question's answered. So if you say the greatest
It's like
player,
reading Beowulf here.
but my problem with Julius Peppers is the greatest Panther of all time is that a large portion of his career was played elsewhere. He put up great numbers in Chicago and Green Bay.
Ooh, hot take.
But he
It's
really
true,
did.
though.
He really
No doubt.
did. Okay, all right. So there's that. So then you take someone like Luke Kuechly, one of the best probably the best middle linebacker of his era, future Hall of Famer. You look at the accolades that he put up. I mean, no other Panther has done that. However, longevity counts. It doesn't count maybe as much.
This is like one of those game shows. Who's going to win the $1 million?
So
then they go to like
because
10
he knows
commercials.
what I'm gonna say.
I know what he's.
I know exactly where you're
The
leading.
greatest Panther.
Well, who the hell
Go ahead and
is
say
it?
it.
Agent 89.
89.
Steve Smith.
Who?
Steve Smith.
Number
Emotion.
89.
Steve
This
Smith.
is emotion.
He's got Hall of Fame numbers, although he might not be he probably.
What's with Steve Smith and the feud he's got going on with the organization?
Well, I think that has to do with the old regime. I think he's good with the new regime, but I just feel like a guy who in his
the old
career,
regime that never built the practice
Never bu-
facility.
Right.
Does that not blow your
they
mind?
had to practice in the convention
Does
center.
that
That's
not
crazy.
blow
It
your
does. It
mind?
does. Every time it's brought up, it does.
Ron
Seriously.
Rivera should get pain money for having to endure
But see, that's
that.
kind of my point.
No, they
That-
should pay him an extra year,
Steve Smith
even though he's
put
in
up
Washington.
these Hall of Fame-esque numbers.
While practicing at Garrison High School.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Look who he had throwing to him his entire career.
Most of his
Won
career.
the Triple Crown. One of three receivers in NFL history to do that with Jake Delhomme and Chris Wanke throwing at
And
him.
man, Rodney really wants to argue with you,
And
man.
he played the bulk of his career in Carolina. Rejuvenated his career once Cam came. Left because we thought he was too old.
He's
and
selling
then,
it hard, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
really selling
my
it.
pick.
Selling
Steve
it hard.
Smith is the greatest Panther of all
right.
time.
I'm going to be quite honest with you. Steve Smith is a fringe Hall of Famer.
French. Okay, I know. I'll give
He's
you
a
that.
fringe Hall of Famer.
But who's your favorite? Who's the best Panther?
Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly?
I will go
You're
Luke
not
Kuechly.
answering with emotions?
No, I'm
You're
not
not answering because he
answering-
just
I'm
retired, Rodney?
No.
Are you
I'm-
sure?
Look. You play 8 years. You were all pro 7 of those 8 years here.
Okay.
You were defensive player of the year. You went to a Super Bowl and you were the rookie of the year.
5 first team Pro Bowl.
5
right?
first team. That's
Only
not,
2 players in history to win Defensive Player of the Year after winning.
Hey!
Rookie of the
You
Year.
picked Steve Smith.
I'm just saying it's still Steve Smith. but
Don't
I'm
be trying to change your mind.
And then during his whole entirety in the NFL,
let me ask
he led the league in tackles.
Let me ask
And
you
he
this
was
real
a
quick.
top linebacker interception.
Is it
too.
harder to be a top wide receiver or a top linebacker in the NFL?
Nowadays, a top linebacker.
No.
Come on, man.
What was the
With-
question?
Is it
No.
harder to be a top wide receiver or top linebacker? Because you said Steve Smith is a French
Linebacker.
Linebacker.
You said
Because
Steve-
now the wide receiver's got more room to play. You can't touch him.
Well, but we're talking about Steve Smith also played a bulk of his career at the beginning.
No, listen,
of,
we ain't arguing with your pick.
I'm just saying.
Don't
he
oversell
said,
it, bro.
He said that Steve Smith was a fringe Hall of
He is a
Famer,
fringe.
which, hold on, I don't disagree with. But the reason he's a fringe Hall of Famer is because
Jake Long.
there's a log jam at wide receiver for the Hall of Fame, as it is. The guy is top 10 in 2 of the 3 major receiving categories, catches and yards. Fringe Hall of Famer is only because of the structure of the Hall of Fame procedure, not because
Of his talent.
or
How
his
long
numbers.
did it take for Tim Brown to get in?
He's better than Tim Brown, man.
No, he's not.
What? What?
Uh-oh, we're going Philadelphia.
What?
So who's your favorite Panther? Who's the best Panther?
It's Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
It's
So
all
we got
about
a Steve
Julius
Smith
Peppers
and we got a
Steve
Luke
Steve
Kuechly.
Smith.
All right, Jerry.
I'm
Smith
last.
third.
I'm
Jerry.
the guest.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay. All right. We can dig it. I have a confession.
Yeah.
I can't answer this without my emotions. I'm sorry. I'm breaking the rules.
I know.
I am completely breaking the rules.
That's part
It
of
is
it.
number 89. It is Steve Smith. He is going to be forever my favorite Panther player. Yes, Rodney, I love him because of his passion. I love him because he is short, angry, and light-skinned like I am. I don't have statistics to throw out at you. He is my emotional favorite, and you will deal with it
And
today.
he likes to punch teammates in the face.
See, here
So
you go. See, that's passion.
Yeah. Yes. They probably deserved it.
I hear you. I hear you.
Michael Jordan used to punch people in the face, right?
There you go.
He
There
punched
you go.
Steve Kerr.
It's
But
passion.
Michael Jordan was a champion. Okay.
Oh wow. Oh okay. We cutting deep today.
Yeah.
Got
And
you.
he took his rings off before he hit Steve Kerr.
But in all seriousness, man. Look who was dude.
He's the third best Panther. That's cool.
So another question.
You
Inject
crazy.
this. Is there a minimum number of years you had to have been a Panther to play?
I'll say 5.
Okay.
Because
You got to have some kind of body of work.
because then we could say Reggie White, was
Right.
great. I'm not playing that game.
At least a 5-year
Yeah.
sample size.
So I feel like those are the three.
Oh, who was that? Who was the other? Who was his name? Groh, the lineman.
Jordan Gross.
Yeah,
Jordan Gross.
Yeah, he's top 10, 15.
Well, I'm not
maybe.
saying he's the guy. I'm just throwing that out.
You
there.
could, and Cam is like right at number 4, but I feel like Pep, Luke, and Smitty are the three that you have to really consider.
So you
Is
got
it-
Steve Smith.
I got Steve Smith, but I there's an asterisk beside mine. It's an emotional pick.
We know.
I feel
know.
justified in saying that.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going with the guy that can run north, south, east, west, cover the pass, cover the run, always in the play, punished his body, was absolutely relentless, down to down to down. And I had to go to a jumbo widescreen to keep up with the crazy man. And I'm going with Kuechly.
I respect it.
Yeah.
A linebacker that can play the old school game and the modern day game.
Yes.
The run,
yep.
the pass, can cover. It can cover more zip code than the average linebacker. That's my vote.
I like how we all just shut up.
Notice how I condensed that and just shut
Yeah,
through.
no,
If
yeah.
this mic wasn't on a stand, if this mic wasn't on a stand, I'd drop it.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't disagree with anyone who picks either.
It's all
Kuechly
emotional. There is a lot
or
of good
Pep.
picks.
I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
There's some Cam fans that are mad at us right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people say
I love Cam, but he's not better than those
He
three.
won the MVP, man.
But he's not better than those three.
you know what? You could make.
Defensive players really don't win the MVP.
Here's
like
the
that.
thing: you could make a really good case for Cam, like you could Steve Smith. I feel like it's just that Steve Smith's career gets underrated because he was a Carolina Panther and
I agree
because
with that.
he played with average at best quarterbacks until Cam got here. And
Well, let me ask you something. Does it speak? What does it say of Cam Newton since he wasn't selected by anybody at the table?
it just says
It
that
said to me, it says that,
that just says how good those three players were.
and also to me, it says that the front office neglected that side of the ball when he was here to me.
I think that's fair.
I honestly agree.
Now, I think we all can agree that no player has made us more relevant than Cam Newton.
That
I think
is
we all
true.
can.
Definitely.
I think we all can
That's
agree with
true.
that.
That's true.
And
Right.
I'll at least say neither of the three players that we just talked about really backpacked the team like Cam Newton. I mean, Cam Newton carried this team.
Carried you to what?
No, they didn't carry us, but
Carried you to what?
carried
Carried
us
the
at least
team
to a super, at least to a Super Bowl.
Carry.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, how many
Couple playoff
quarterbacks?
appearances.
How many quarterbacks single-handedly carried their? Cam Newton carried us that year.
He carried you to non-back-to-back winning season.
Richardson, get on
You
in.
go back and look at efficiency ratings and go back and don't come back and try to sell me last season he had the greatest passing
Yeah, he
percentage
did.
because he also his yards per pass went down.
Hey, Drew Brees made a Hall of Fame career behind throwing
but
5
he had
yards a pass.
But I'm not criticizing the game. I'm saying the argument of how can you speak out that way against a quarterback who had this kind of completion percentage? Now go back and look at the completion percentages and efficiency and his rankings
On the flip
for
side.
the previous.
Who was he throwing to though? He took us
The
to
V-Man ain't
Super
done,
Bowl.
little
Okay,
bro.
all right.
V-Man ain't done here. Go back and look at the preceding 6 seasons and call me at the house.
At the house.
At the house, not in the car. At the house.
I'm just saying. We went to a Super Bowl
I had to warm him up a
with,
little bit.
Philly Brown
Yeah.
and Jericho Cotry
Tag in.
and Ted Ginn as our receiver core.
I throw my hands in the air
I'm
in a
just
state of despair.
Of course, people's like Cam hasn't been as good as he was that year. Of
I'm
course
warming
not.
you up.
He gave all he had. Throwing the
I'm warming
Philly
you
Brown.
up for another shit.
All right.
All right.
We can do that.
Also,
Go
a
work.
real quick thing I want to make. Everyone brings up the Panthers never had back-to-back. When was the last time we had back-to-back losing seasons before this year? Then not during Cam Newton's entire
Oh
time
my
here.
goodness!
Hey,
You just dove into the pool of mediocrity. Let me see the swim.
I
can't believe you said that.
I'm just saying because that
Did you hear that? When
I'm
is the
just-
last time we had back to
I'm just saying though, there's two sides to that coin. Everyone
Yeah, but
brings
listen,
that up and it doesn't mean
You know,
anything.
that's like saying, I'm going to toss it. Heads I win, tails you lose. Come on,
I mean, look.
the back-to-back winning seasons
Is my
argument
cab here
means
yet? Where's my Uber?
nothing.
To be honest
Means
with you,
nothing.
to be honest with you, the common denominator and not having a back-to-back winning seasons
Here we
all
go.
those times
Is
was
Ron,
Mr. Richardson.
Okay.
Was Mr.
I'm
Richardson.
surprised you didn't say Ron Rivera.
No.
Okay.
No. It's an organizational thing. The
What, he
guy
went out and evaluated players?
I don't know about
he
it.
owned it.
Did he go out and evaluate
This is
players?
the Michael Jordan argument.
Kraft doesn't go out and evaluate players.
But if we're going,
What owner goes
y'all
out
know
and
what I'm going
evaluate
to say
players?
when it comes to this. Because if we going to blame the other owner for all the lack of talent or whatever you want to call it, why not Richardson?
I don't think it was lack of talent. It had anything to do. So here, not just in the Ron Rivera era. Here's why that's a bad correlation to make. In the history,
I agree.
In the history of the Carolina Panthers, 20 plus years, they've had the largest deviance from wins to losses of any team in the history of the NFL. SB Nation actually did an article on it because they had never seen anything like it. We're going all the way back to
And what does that mean?
Mediocre.
That means that the difference in each season between numbers of wins between one season
Right,
and the next fluctuates
That much.
that
But,
much.
and
No
just
other
a,
team.
and just a few moments ago, you said, "But when is the last time?"
Which is my point. The Panthers were never consistent when it came to winning or losing seasons
Now I know what
until the last 7 years.
Now I know what the
point.
Temptations meant when they wrote that song, "Ball of Confusion."
I'm just saying you gotta look at all.
I mean, no.
Can I get a little taps
Look,
across
I agree
the
with the
table?
argument.
We won the division 3 times in a row, and everyone's like, "We never had back-to-back winning seasons." Who cares?
Who cares? We won the division.
We won
Who
the division.
cares?
We won the. You want to win the division, or do you want a winning record? Because I
No,
remember
but does-
I remember
does
the New
that
England
not-
Patriots
does
going
that-
11-5 and not making the
And not-
playoffs.
right.
Does that not speak about the consistency of your football culture and how you're going to dare walk in and say
3
"Oh,
division championships in
In
a
a
row.
row. Never been done.
It's
Never been done.
consistency.
That's
Never been done in the
fine.
NFC South.
B-Man.
That's
fine."
consistency.
They're Ron Rivera fans.
I am not.
My God,
Stop it. You stop
You
it.
guys are like rationalizing this lack of excellence. It's blowing my mind.
No, I'm just saying.
I got to go lay down.
I'm just saying that's
Where's the cop?
I need a shot. I need a shot.
Excellence is subjective, right? Hey, 3. Would you rather have had a winning record or a playoff berth?
Playoff berth.
Right.
Easy.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, you're rationalizing. Making the playoffs is great, but with a losing record, that means you lucked in.
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
good luck. So then let me ask you something.
Fundamental disagreement.
I'm just saying. Do you think the 2008 or 2009 Patriots would have rather had a playoff berth or that 11-5 record?
Playoff. No, you
Yeah,
crazy.
come on,
You
man.
must be
You're
crazy.
missing
Stop
the big
that.
picture of
I understand
consistency
what
of the
you're saying.
culture
I understand what you're
of
saying.
winning.
Yep.
Winning breeds the winning.
It
And
does.
there is a reason why you went up and down and up and down and up and down.
What was that reason? Why did
A variety of reasons.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's the greatest mystery in
Performance.
the NFL.
I can go back to past 6. You had inconsistency at quarterback play. You had inconsistency in your defensive play.
Yep.
That's true.
You had
very true.
inconsistency in not replenishing and addressing offensive and defensive line play.
Right.
You weren't designed
Which
to
I think is
offset
still a Achilles heel.
injuries, etc. So your roster design caught up with you. One cannot ignore the impact when you do not have back-to-back winning seasons.
Yep.
There is a reason for that because it doesn't breed excellence. It doesn't. You lucked in if you get in on a losing season.
So
Well,
You know, that's
so-
like, that contradicts the
Well,
grain of
I
what
don't-
competition is. We got in, but we had a losing season.
So-
Yeah,
so-
because Atlanta screwed up. No, I want
Well,
to get in on my own
so,
merit.
So the
I can
more
dig it.
so the theme of the argument is we need to get past this mediocrity and
Exactly.
embrace the future that Tepper is building for us.
Exactly.
I can
I'm
agree
gonna
with
make I'm gonna make a hot take statement.
Okay.
The Panthers do not
Never-
have
let me
back.
give you a
The
piece of
Panthers
advice.
do not
Let me-
have
let-
back-to-back
let-
winning seasons
Never tell people
for
it's
the
a
next
hot take segment.
5 years.
Just
I'm
say
saying,
it.
yeah, they won't. I don't think they're going to do it.
5 seasons?
5 seasons. Because
5?
okay, so do you think the Panthers make the playoffs next year?
No.
No.
It doesn't look like it.
So they don't. So do you think they're going to make it the year after that?
Maybe.
I don't know. We don't know.
How could you say 5 years when you don't know about deals?
We don't know about defense,
and injuries
quarterback.
to other teams.
Because
who the quarterback's going to be?
Because, well,
I mean, if you look at the division, Drew Brees is getting older.
Drew Brees might retire.
we said all these same things.
Listen.
2014.
Listen. Drew Brees is getting older. Matt Ryan and Julio have been nicked up for the past couple of years.
Right.
The only team in our way is maybe the Buccaneers. And Winston just threw the 30 interceptions.
Who's the next coach going to be?
4.
Because if you don't make the playoffs,
5 years.
I thought we were rebuilding. Everyone says we're rebuilding.
No. Rebuilding is only like 2 or 3 years.
Not 5, buddy.
he's not going to give him 5 years
No,
to
there's
rebuild
no
his
way.
team.
No, I agree with that.
Ain't no 5 years, man.
No.
There'll be people out in front of the stadium just
No, I agree. You said it last week.
And then on top of that, Tepper wants a new stadium. Losing teams don't get new stadiums.
I agree.
Do you think so? What you guys are saying that we're going to win with Cam Newton? Because that
Is he healthy? We could do. Come on now.
Because,
We have said on this show.
That's why I said that.
Let me talk, man.
Because before we started filming, I remember we were all like, we don't know if Cam
I'm
Newton's
looking like it 3 different people.
gonna be that guy, right?
There's 3 different people.
Everyone here is so non-committal on Cam Newton. We're gonna win with him.
We have to be non-committal with Cam Newton because
we don't
nobody
know.
knows
Nobody
what his health is
knows.
like. So we have to
if
be.
we're non-committal,
I'm
then
going on record. He's not going to be your quarterback next year.
You feel that way?
Man, I'll throw it right out there.
I honestly feel like that now.
He's not going to be the
so do you
quarterback next year.
think? So do you think?
Why would he be a quarterback on a rebuilding team, 20 mil cap hit, behind an offensive line that has the constant state of the flu at his point of his career? You know what? Because conversations are going on behind the room. What can we get for him? And it might, people forget about the Cam Newton side.
That's true.
Everybody, don't interpret what's happening with public commentary.
Yep.
There's significant conversations happen behind the scenes.
closed doors.
Maybe Cam Newton is like, y'all put me on a team that I got a shot to win? Then go ahead and trade me.
Chicago,
The
the
I mean,
Chargers.
guys want to go out with a chance to really compete. And you don't think his agent is looking and
Oh,
going,
no, he-
I don't
yeah,
know,
he want-
Cam.
no,
Look, everybody's going to explore what's
Shoulder,
best for them.
And I'm going to put this out there.
Let's look at that game tape of the offensive line.
I'm going to put this out there.
Ouch.
I want to put this out. This might hurt. Christian McCaffery has a holdout coming. I'm telling you, he has a holdout coming.
That's a hot take.
I would not play another down without a new contract. And he's going to want top money.
Is that coming this year?
It's coming this year.
No, man.
Yes, it is.
No.
The Panthers have never really had a history of holdouts, though, especially on the Hurney.
When's the last time they had a Christian McCaffrey?
That's what I'm saying. And he's going to want top money.
Well, they had a D'Angelo and a Jonathan Stewart that they overpaid. So conventional wisdom would tell you, whatever you want, Chris McCaffrey.
No, honestly,
there should be no holdout.
Honestly, is it wise to pay a running back $16 to $17 million? He wants top money.
No. We're not talking about a running back. We're talking about Christian McCaffrey. You give him what you want. There's no discussion with that.
However, if I'm the general manager, behind the scenes, I am on the phone to see who's going to get stupid. And I make the phone call.
You gotta keep your options open.
If somebody gets you 2 first-round picks,
any good general manager would do that.
Don't drown out the facts now. Listen up.
All right.
I'm on that phone, and I just test the balloon. I go, listen. This is my phone prop. Listen, if by chance, just by chance, I was to say, what will you give me for Christian McCaffrey? Oh, really? I'll get back to you. And if the voice on the other end of the phone gets really stupid, and they're going to give me a whole lot,
You gotta listen.
it's just a point
that's true,
to consider since you're in a rebuild. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to do it, but that call will be made just to be inquisitive. Just in case you call 3 or 4 people, what would you do?
And then you look at all the running backs that were in the NFC and AFC championship game. None of those running backs made top dollars. How much does a running back really matter?
Hold on. If we're talking about
he's more than a running back.
running back, then they're not that valuable in the league. But we're talking about
he's a lead singer. He's a backup singer.
He's Michael.
And he could fill in for another group.
He's Michael, Jermaine, and Tito.
You can play him as a slot receiver if you wanted to.
Seriously.
So, all right, real quick.
I have a simple question.
Yes.
Who said we were rebuilding? Look,
it looks like. I mean,
I like to call it redesign.
All right, real quick.
Transition.
All right, before we go to the commercial break.
All right.
When's the first time the Panthers are going to have back-to-back winning seasons? If Cam Newton's not here.
No, there's so much at stake.
Because apparently it's really easy to do. So
look.
He's not gonna stop fighting.
No, yeah.
Look. When we draft
He's like the
Isaiah
guy
Simmons,
looking around. He was just told the reinforcements aren't coming, but he goes, "That's okay. I'm gonna fight them all off."
when we draft Isaiah Simmons and we get another foundational defense, we can talk about it there.
I hope the Giants get
that's
him.
going to happen in less than 5 years, by the way. That was my point. That's all I'm saying.
Commercial break.
We'll be right back. We're going to talk about some politics. Some politics, yes. And we are back. We're going to talk some Charlotte politics and money here.
Money.
We're just going to condense a bunch of topics that have been hot topics here in Charlotte, particularly the stadium renovation approval. There not being any vote on that. No votes on public funding for the MLS headquarters site.
And some very high-priced gifts.
Yes. Some campaign donations were made by Mr. Tepper
and company
to city council members and local politicians before these votes were made. Gentlemen, your thoughts on that? We'll let Mr. Vaillancourt go first.
Well, let's remove the Panthers and Tepper and everybody from the mix, and let's do it this way. I need a road built in front of my property, and you three are going to determine the vote, and then I contribute money to your campaigns. Visually, or let me use the news phrase, what are the optics on that?
What do I always say to y'all?
Optics matter.
Yep.
Optically, that is not a good look.
Okay, not a good look. The reason, and I posted something about this on my Twitter account a couple of weeks ago, the reason you hear from a lot of fans that find this acceptable is because of the emotional attachment to the game of football and their team. Right. So they're willing to put the smoke machine on, turn it on,
we didn't see
cover
anything.
that. But if this was happening, which it does in other areas, which happens in politics, they would be a louder voice. But because it's sports, you get sedated.
We don't see
what's happening.
Nope,
I don't see that. I got to get to the
dopamine,
playoffs. That's what now. And the amounts were 5,000 some odd, 200, 300. That's okay. But it's the fact that the gesture of doing that and forming, which is a slick move, and it's a move. It's a move when you're trying to get something that you do. But remove sports from it,
and I don't
put
mean
it in another aspect, and tell me what the reaction would be.
I don't necessarily.
And that's what the answer is.
I don't necessarily mean this in a good or bad way. But
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of the way Tepper is used to operating in his.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's just kind of is what it is, to kind of quote a famous Panthers coach. But
he's got the value of the product. He knows this product has big boom. It's got a lot of clout in the marketplace.
Right, and like you said, as citizens, as fans, we get brand new colored seats, and we get brand new cup holders in front of the seats, and the stadium's going to be a nice, beautiful design. It's like
upgraded Wi-Fi,
upgraded.
And some PSL people are getting bumped out.
And
because they're putting
They're
luxuries
not happy about it.
That are getting moved out. But the sports emotional hook is the reason why there isn't more of what? You can't do that. Although they'll say you can't do that if it's influencing.
The irony with this is that this city is less than a decade removed from a mayor being removed from office for accepting money for whatever his purposes were. So
it's Fox, right?
Right. And I find that very ironic that people are outraged about that. Well, when it comes to this, it's like
to be honest, this is the Charlotte way. Like our city leaders.
It's that way in a lot of cities.
Yeah, and our city leaders take the posture like, okay, we know what's best for the city.
We don't really need to listen to you.
The voice is the input.
I
agree with that totally.
I know the optics look bad, but David Tepper is a
shrewd.
Well, yeah, but he's a public Democrat that publicly denounces the president. But I think it would actually be remiss of him as a Democrat to come to a blue city like Charlotte
He's a registered Republican,
Charlotte's
though.
more of a liberal city than you
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
no, that's what I'm saying. It is. I
conservative.
mean, we are a super liberal city.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think it's important to know he's a public Democrat, but at the heart of who he is,
Yeah, but-
he is a registered Republican.
But I think for him to come out and speak out against Trump the way that he does and the RNC, for him to come here and start building stuff and moving
Signing
money
a
around,
decree.
Right.
yeah, I think it would be kind of remiss for him to not acknowledge with the Democratic leaders in our
I
city.
think it's by
No,
design.
but you see, you're rationalizing. The point is, apply that story to something
Something else.
outside the sports world, and what is your reaction?
It's a different
to it?
dynamic. It's a totally
so what
different
happens
reaction.
now? You're injecting the sports world back into it, which is validating the point that I
But
made.
isn't that a good thing though?
Well, see,
as,
there you
as
go
sports
again.
fans, but no, but
As sports
as,
fans,
as
yeah.
sports fans, it's great.
Everybody's not
Yeah.
a sports fan.
exactly.
Well, and that's true. But as sports fans, one of the things sports fans realize is we know the economic impact of, and not just the global impact of having a professional sports team in our city.
People
Imagine-
argue differently.
Hold on,
man.
if the citizens had their way, we wouldn't have an NBA team now.
That's true.
So is it, and look at where Charlotte is, because even though our team is not that great, but because we have an NBA team, we just played a game in an international city.
And it opens the door
Having
for so
pro
much.
sports
So
is a wonderful thing because your city's name is constantly out there.
it raises
It's
the profile of the
repeated
city.
over. It does.
Yeah.
It enhances the profile.
Yeah.
As far as economic impact, you can play with those
play
numbers
those
all
numbers
you want.
any way
I've
you
seen
want.
those reports for years, and you can make them song and dance all you want.
Right.
I'm all for having pro sports presence in your city.
Right.
But the point being, and the question was, when you hear financial contributions being made to the political sector, and yet they have a voice in whether or not appropriations are going to be made for your
that's true.
project.
Yeah.
What is the message that is sent?
Right.
The message
That's
it
what it
sends is we know what's best for the city,
We just need y'all to shut up.
and we
know what
just
we're
shut up
doing.
and just take this pill.
I'm here for you, now do something for me.
Right.
Yeah,
Pretty
and,
much.
and if you look at it,
Like prid quo quo walk into a bar.
No, what? No.
and if you honestly look at it, when the Panthers had their game in London, the actual city leaders went along with Tepper to recruit businesses. If you look, if you actually look at
Yeah.
the Hornets game in Paris,
Same thing happened.
Vilas was there
Right.
with other people. So it's all like you said, a quid pro quo. It's a
If
favor
you,
for a
if you
favor.
want pro teams and you want that, there are sacrifices
You
to
have to
make.
make.
Nothing
Right.
is ever a complete happy game where
Yeah. Right.
everyone is going to be happy.
Right.
You look at the overall landscape of your city, was it a do? But the question was, what is the message being sent when money is donated to the political sector? So now this is where the separation comes between a sports fan and the non-sports fan, and that's where
Yeah.
the friction will come.
because I
It's been like that in
I
Charlotte
love
for a while,
I
though.
love having pro teams in town and big time college teams in the
You
region.
tell what I also would love to have more affordable housing. To be quite honest with you.
Well, there's another one too,
It's a big
because
debate.
now you know that the tax break that was passed along, where you get a bigger tax break if you invest in blighted areas. What's going to be invested in the blighted areas? More affordable housing, or
Nope.
more price points for rentals and
Or-
properties
But
that's going to price
that's
people
not
out?
the fault of someone like David Tepper. If he builds facilities in East Charlotte like he's doing,
No, but it benefits stadium builders.
it does.
Because if you're going to buy
It
the
does.
land and
No,
build
it
a
does.
stadium in a blighted area, you get a bigger tax break.
Tax
so
break.
it's a multi-layered
And some
thing.
the contractors have to get paid. So somebody.
yeah, I mean,
By the way, am I getting paid to do this?
well,
I didn't give you donuts.
Well,
I
Krispy
got paid
Kreme.
already. I
Donuts and coffee.
2 donuts and a coffee. I'm
We're
in.
broke here under construction, okay?
Fellas,
So yeah, we got to get Gerry V out of here. He's a busy man.
Quick shout outs.
Quick shout outs. We'll let Mr. Vaillancourt go first. You got any shout outs for us or shout ats?
baby, I'm on my way. I won't be late.
There you go.
Okay, I got a quick shout out. I want to give a shout at to the New Orleans Saints organization.
Terrible thing.
I want more to unfold from this story. It's the optics are not good.
About the emails.
Yep, the emails, the optics are not good at all. And also give a shout out to the baby and Luke. Grammys of the night.
It's a good one.
Two
I
Charlotte
want to give
artists.
a shout out to James Dolan that owns the Knicks. Sell the team.
Well,
Shout out to Tommy Knotts, who is the former coach of West Charlotte during the illustrious time that I was there during the 90s. He won the National High School Coach of the Year this year. So congratulations to Tommy Knotts.
Good job.
Keep doing great things. I hope you're still cussing kids out in weight rooms. We love you, Mr. Tommy Knotts. So congratulations to you, man. So that's all I had this week. Yeah.
Love high school.
Quick shout out to Cam Newton. I don't know if you guys saw news. It was more news of Cam Newton doing Cam Newton things off the field. Regardless of what you think about him on the field or the drama he goes through, I firmly believe he is probably the best ambassador that the city of Charlotte has had as far as professional sports goes. I mean, the things that he does for kids.
He's equal to Steve Smith.
We'll talk about that off camera. But the things that he does for kids in the community, not just in Charlotte, but in Atlanta, good on him. And I'm glad that he's representing the Panthers for however long that may be.
Maybe another 3-4 months.
3-4 months. So,
hey, there's an on-the-field performance and off-the-field persona. That's two separate worlds.
Exactly, yep.
So, he does things off the field, and he's doing it for the kids. But when you evaluate talent, off-the-field contributions is a separate.
It is. No, absolutely separate thing. So, thank you again for joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Vaillancourt, for joining us. Yes. Like always, he will be back, and you'll be seeing more of him here very soon. So we will see you guys next week, and hopefully the Hornets will be 3-0. And
I'm so sick of seeing this red light. I'm tired of this red light. No more red.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was like the red light district.
No, not here.
Not here.
I'm just asking.
Upstairs.
Y'all have a good week. Take care of each other.
Peace, y'all.